It's Fanny here. I miss y'all so much, Kairos. Like, I miss y'all so much. Seriously, I'm always talking about y'all. I'm always bragging about Kairos. Um, but a little birdie flew in and told me that y'all are not meeting in the sanctuary anymore. Today's y'all's last day, and y'all are starting next week. Y'all be in the new building now. Yeah, hold on. I swear I could do this. There we go. No, but I just want to say, dude, that's awesome. That's continue doing what you're doing, and you know, God's faithful. And honestly, that building is gonna really be changing people's lives. And I mean, not just the building itself, but as well as y'all. You know, like it's a that building is a tool. You know, but congratulations on that. Can't wait to be there and see it. And but yeah, just wanted to speak on how Kairos really affected my life and how it changed me, and why I even speak about Kairos so highly. Um, so growing up, I wasn't a Christian, wasn't really into anything, you know. I was a Catholic though, but that's all I knew. That's all I knew of. You know, I knew the Virgin Mary and everything, but I wasn't really into it. You know, just went on Sundays, and went to mass, came out, back to living life. Right, that's it. Until I don't know. In the Catholic religion, you have to do your baptism, then your primera comunión, and then you go into your confession, all that, right? So while I was growing up, I was doing all that, and I don't know, like a question just popped up into my mind, and you know, when I was going to Bible study and all that, like getting the classes done, so I could, you know, be honored in the presence of God, or I honestly don't even know why. Um, but anyways, while I was doing all that, a question came up to my mind, and I asked I remember asking my parents. I was like, why do I have to do this? Like, why is this? And like, you know, it was just like all these whys behind this. And honestly, like they didn't even have like a proper answer to, you know, to convince me, I guess, you know, I would say. Or like to even tell me, like they're like, oh, you just have to do it. This is part of who you are, and you just have to, you know, it's religion. You know, it's part of who we are and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, you know, cool. But being hard headed, like the person that I am, I was like, well, I was like, did you do it? Like, did y'all do it growing up? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. So I guess I gotta do it right. So I didn't get out of it. So I did all that. But I was until like I finally hit like a stage in my life where I was just like asking questions like why did I do that, like why is this, you know, type of things. Those whys were still there. So later on in life, ended up meeting a friend, and he was like telling me about like he was like reading his Bible, and like he was just like really sharing Jesus to me, and I was just like, I know Jesus, like I know who he is. And something that like in like those why questions that I was talking about earlier came back to my head. So then I started asking him, I was like, oh, maybe you know this, you know? So I was like, why do Catholics do this? Why do Catholics do that? You know, like why is this? And something interesting that he told me was like, well, I don't know. He said, I don't know. I'm not a Catholic. I'm a Christian. And I was like, all right, wrong person to ask, right? So I just like, you know, I was trying to avoid him after that, because the word Christian really wasn't a big, I wasn't really a big fan of it. I was just like, because my ideal thought of a Christian was a person with long hair, and those long skirts, and they have to dress a certain way. You can't wear pants, you can't wear shorts or anything like that. And that, like, I was like, man, like, ain't no religion gonna tell me what to wear, what not to wear. Like, I was like, if y'all know me, I pull up with sandals, basketball shorts, and a t-shirt, you know, or jeans or whatever, you know. You wouldn't find me in a skirt or anything like that. Well, maybe now, but but like to wear it every single day, nah, that's not me, you know. So I was like, nah, you know what, like, I'm running away. Anyways, fast forward to the story. He told me something that really stuck to me. He was like, it's not about religion, it's about relationship. I was like, oh, like, that's different. Like, what do you mean it's not about religion? Like, my whole thought, like, was like, go off by what you were raised on, you know. And I don't know about y'all, but like, for me, in the Hispanic community, in the Hispanic background, it's tradition. Tradition is big for us, you know. And so if my cousins did it, my little cousin, or my older cousins or whatever, I gotta follow it, you know, stuff like that. And I remember at the time, if you wanted a quinceañera, you had to do all these in order to be blessed by the priest or something like that. And so after that, I was like, okay, like, that's cool. Like, that just stuck to me. I lost contact with that friend eventually. And I remember he invited me to church one day. Before I lost contact, he invited me to church, and he told me the name of the church. Like, I never went. And so then after that, my best friend, Destiny, she invited me to a church. She invited me to church, and she was like, hey, like, can you come with me to church? And I was like, no, like, you're a Christian, like, you know, that's not me, stuff like that. We're in high school already. And so she was like, man, like, if you come with me, like, my grandpa said, like, he'll buy us ice cream. Even though I'm lactose, I still love ice cream, man. Like, that's my weakness. But anyways, I was like, you know what, pick me up. So we went to church. We went to church. And I looked at the sign, and it said North Central. And I was like, dude, this name sounds so familiar. Turns out that it was the same church that, you know, my friend had told me to go to. So, and you know, I ended up not going, but the name stuck out to me. So I was like, oh shoot, like, this is the church and stuff like that. Went in there. I'm thinking we're gonna sit in the back row, right? But no, her grandpa sits on the second row in the front, and I'm like, I'm like, what the heck? And it was on a Wednesday night. I remember this. It was on a Wednesday night, so it was like hardly people there. And they did like their worship and stuff, and then before their sermon and stuff. And so I was like, I remember looking around, and I was like, what the heck is this? I was like, what are they doing? Like, are they crazy? Like, I was like, the priest isn't even here. Like, why are they, like, you know, worshiping without him and stuff? Eventually, I heard this lady speaking in tongues. At the time, I didn't know what it was. And I was like, that honestly scared me. And I was like, I can't go back there. Like, I'm not going back, whatever. Then, so a couple of years passed. I'm a senior in high school. And I got into, like, selling drugs, you know, providing for my family. I thought that was, like, the easy way in. I knew where to get it from. I knew who to go to. You know, I knew all this, right? I knew the resource of it. So I was like, bro, like, no job is hiring me. I need to make money. I need to pay I didn't have bills at the time, but I think, like, I wanted a new phone. And so bro, I would, like, sell candy in school, And then I like once like freaking 12:30 hit, 2:30 hit, I was like selling drugs. So like that's how I would make my money, right? So growing up, they taught me like if you want something, you gotta work for it. My parents don't give no handouts. They didn't give me no handouts or anything. So me and my sister, um, we had to work for what we had. So yeah, I was like, you know what? Like I mean, I'm not stupid enough to like sell drugs in school. Like people are always hungry, especially these little kids here. So I would sell like candy in school, and then right after school, like get down to like the real deal, right? Anyways, so I started doing that after high school. Started selling stuff like that. I would go to parties, just stand there, and like they already knew, like it, like I was like the plug, right? Anyways, after all that, I met I ended up coming back to church, and so after my friend had invited me, I was still going to church. So I would come like every Wednesday, only on Wednesdays though. I would come on Wednesdays. I would come by myself sometimes, and then I was like, I started reconnecting with my old friend from the beginning, and like we would have like little, like he would like teach me about the Bible, and like like I would read something, like, and then like I'll get my input and stuff like that, like a mini Bible study. Anyways, after that, so I started coming to church, stuff like that, and then like I felt like, once like when you're reading something, or like, for example, I'm gonna give an example. It's a better example. Think of your first day of school. You got that fresh fit on. You can't wait to pull up and like show your friends, stuff like that, like stuff like that, right? So it was something like that for me. I had that urge to just share like what Jesus is doing in the Bible, right? And I remember sharing with my friends, and they would make fun of me, and like they would, like, so that kind of like brought down my ego, and so I was just like, I'm not gonna share this no more. Like, this is dumb, right? And then I don't know, I was just like, what, like, stop making fun of me and come to church with me, like see how it is, like like y'all have to experience this. Like, it's not like if I'm feeling something inside of here, like I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling something, like I'm pretty sure y'all will feel something. I'm sorry, I'll keep on looking back, but anyways, I brought him. I remember bringing one of my friends, and I kid you not, like he would ask me like, is this a Christian church or is it a Catholic church? And I'm like, well, I was like, well, they don't have no religion. I was like, it's not like religion or anything, but like they go like off of Christian themes and stuff like that. And I remember him saying like, nah, that's not, like, nah, like just denying it, right? Which is cool, like I get it, like, what I'm saying? I come from a Catholic background, or like I said, traditions. It's all in there. And so, anyways, we had that conversation, but I don't know, he kept on coming and coming and coming, so we'll come every Wednesday. And eventually, I stopped coming for a bit, and what surprised me is like he kept on coming. Anyways, he kept on coming. I remember we were hanging out, and he was like, "Fan, guess what?" And I was like, "What's up?" And he was like, "There's some people that want to meet you." And I was like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" He was like, "Yeah, like there's some people that want to meet you at the church." And I was like, "Bro," I was like, "I haven't been." He was like, "Yeah, but they know who you are." And I was like, "How do they even know who I am? Like they're tripping." And he was like, "No, like for real, like they came up to me and they spoke to me and stuff like that." And I was like, "You talk to them?" Like I was like so surprised, because if y'all know this person, y'all know he's not a big social person, right? And then for the ones that know, if you know, you know. Nah, kidding. Nah. So anyways, and so he told me, and I was like, "Bruh," I was like, "Nah." He's like, "Yeah, they want to meet you like next Wednesday." I told him that you're gonna go there, so you gotta go. And I was like, "Bro, like what the heck?" I was like, "Bro, I haven't been." I was like, "How you gonna put this? Like, how you gonna say that and stuff like that?" He was like, "Man, like they're really cool, like for real." He was like, "This dude," he was like, "This dude has like this accent." and like you just had to hear it. And I was like, nah, you're lying now. He's like, no, for real. Like he has like this British accent, and I was like, what? I was like, all right. I was like, I'm gonna go. I was like, but if you're lying, like you gotta buy me Whataburger. He was like, okay. Eventually, eventually we go. Next thing you know, I'm talking to Johnny and Haley. And I'm like, what the heck? Well, I'm mainly talking to Haley. And so, talking to Haley, and then here comes this other girl, and she introduced me to her. And so, her name was Joanna, right? And so I'm like, oh, okay, nice to meet you and stuff like that. And so, um, we're talking and stuff like that. We're getting to know her. I'm getting to know them. They're getting to know me. And then eventually Joanna invites me to a hangout. That's what she called it. It's a hangout. And so I was like, all right, like, cool, like I'll go and stuff like that. So I went, and it was pretty cool. We met at a house, like we had chilled, and we got to know each other. It was honestly, I was pretty like just observing type of thing. But it was fun. It was a different environment for me. And I met some pretty amazing women. And so, anyways, I continued to go, and like they would meet every time. And I remember one day, you know, as I mentioned, like I was, a drug dealer and stuff like that. But one day it really like changed me. And this is where it all changed for me. I remember there's this day that my sister comes home from school, right? And I'm at home, right? I'm at home, and so we had like this system going on. Like she would like tell me like what we need to sell for that day and stuff like that, and I'll have it ready. And then when she comes home from school, we'll go sell them, right? I remember receiving this phone call, this message, and she's telling me like how many pills like we need, and I was like, bro, like that's a lot. And like one thing that we did was like we never sell like a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's a lot, like it's either, in my head, it's either like they're trying to plan something or it's a setup or something, it wasn't common for like, kids or like teenagers to buy like a whole bunch, you know what I'm saying? Unless like we knew like that's like, if it was regularly. So one thing that really like stood out to me was like, one, the amount, two, the name, and it was just someone that we didn't know. So I was like, no, like I don't know. Usually I would just like give them to my sister. You go and you go sell them, right? Like she'll go. But something in my heart really told me like to stop. Like don't let her go by herself. To go with her. So I was like, oh, you know what? Like I was ready. Like we came, and I remember like just going and really we're going, and we met this guy at the gas station, and then he tells us like, hey, like pull up to the beside the gas station was the where you wash your car wash place, right? So we pull up. He was like, but park behind me, right? And so I'm like, park behind him? Like what? That doesn't make sense. So there we go, parking behind him. And he was like, my sister gets off, she's like doing her thing. Next thing you know, like he like took off weird, like fast. In my mind, I'm thinking like, oh, she's done, like we got it, whatever. And she was like, man, fan, like follow him, like this and this and that. So there we go, driving, following him. Eventually we lost him, and so my sister, like, she's mad. But in my mind, I'm like, I don't know, like I was confused about it. And so then after that, she calls up like, some people and stuff like that she knew and stuff. And like it was like a setup like to get him back, right? And I remember it was the day that I had a small group. I remember my small group leader at the time, Joanna, she was like blowing up my phone, and I was like, no, like I'm not going to small group today. Like today's not a good day. Like just leave me alone. Da da da. And so it was nighttime, and like we already had like the guy set up and stuff like that. And then he was just like, when we pulled up, like it was this is where I think like it was all God, you know, protecting us and like, you know, saying like turning us to another direction. And because there was a cop there, like right there, like in that center. And so then after there's a cop there, and there was another cop there, like there was like 3 cops there. And so like we just called it off. And then I remember calling my small group leader. I was like, I'm gonna be a small group, but I'm gonna be late. And so I go to small group, and I remember my sister was like, I'm gonna just stay here, like I'm gonna stay in the car and stuff like that. And I'm like, nah, like you have to get off too, because like I already knew what she was planning on doing, right? Like we're about to go like murder this dude. And so then it was just bad. And so anyways, we were just eventually we got off, we went to small group. And I remember when Joanna was like speaking that day, and that's what changed me. And she was speaking about like things that we like, what we desire, and like the things that we desire is like things that we're gonna like mold ourselves into, you know what I'm saying? So at the time for me was money, drugs, and like just living a sinful life, you know? I didn't know anything. I didn't know Jesus, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I was gonna end up either dead or in jail or in prison. One of those, right? And so yeah, and so I was like, man, I was like, dang, that's what really hit me. And I was like, man, I really don't want to be like the rest of the people that I knew, or like in my life, you know, the people that I knew in my life, like with like especially my family members, like, you know, like they would always like talk down on us and stuff like that. And it was just really bad. And like on top of that, like they knew what we were doing and stuff. And so they were like, oh, you're not gonna be nobody in life, you're not gonna do anything, like, you know, like I had family members in and out of prison, and so it's like you're gonna be like them and stuff like that. And I'm like, nah, like and that's what really like, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to cry, but that's what really impacted my life, was like the things that we desire is what we're gonna mold to. And I knew I had to change my ways. I knew I had to change something. I had to change my life, period, right? Going in, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop all this. I told my sister, I was like, I'm not gonna sell anymore. I'm not gonna do anything. Like I'm not gonna smoke anymore. I'm not gonna drink or anything. Like I'm not gonna do none of that no more. I was like, I'm not living for that anymore. That's not the thing that's gonna control my life, you know? Eventually I ended up getting baptized. I remember that day. Oh dude, like man, it's that day. I remember getting baptized. I remember going under the water, and I was like, dang. I was honestly, I was kind of nervous getting baptized. I was like, man, like all these thoughts were in my mind. And like, if y'all know me, like me and water, we're best friends. And like, I'm always drowning on something. So anyway, so I was like, man, what if like the person that's like dunking me is like gonna drown me for real? Or like, oh my gosh. And so like just those thoughts were in my head, and I was like, nah. So I remember, you know, getting dunked. I didn't drown. But and like coming back up, like I just like was busting out in tears. I was crying. I remember leaving, and I was in the restroom, and I was like, you know, changing and stuff like that. But I remember just like kneeling down like in the restroom, and I was just like, thank you, Jesus. Like, thank you, Jesus, for like giving me a new life, and like, you know, and basically giving me a second chance in life, you know. And that was like the best day of my life. Just, you know, knowing the truth, and knowing that there's a God out there that loves us and that cares for us and wants better for us. Because I didn't have that, you know. Like I said, growing up, I didn't have none of that, you know. But I'm thankful for Joanna, and I'm thankful for Kairos for doing that. Man, like, Kairos is an amazing ministry, man. Like, all y'all small group leaders and armor bearers, like, y'all are doing a phenomenal job. Seriously, because y'all are literally, like, y'all are being the hands and feet of Jesus, seriously. And honestly, like I said, I'm grateful for Johnny and Haley, my small group leader at the time, and all the leaders there, everyone. Like, honestly, if it wasn't for Kairos, I don't think I'll be where I'm at right now. I got a chance to I'm sorry y'all, but I got a chance to come on my first mission trip. And originally I was gonna go to Africa, but you know, my passport didn't come on time. I was coming to San Antonio, and honestly, I was pretty upset. I was like, I didn't want to go to San Antonio. I'm trying to go overseas, you know. I'm trying to go to Africa. I'm trying to see some lions or something. I was like, I don't see no lions here in San Antonio. But anyways, I came, and I remember, like, if y'all know me, like, y'all know my love for Houston is outrageous, right? Like, it's big. And sorry, I remember coming. I know we did, like, our first day here, we did a prayer walk. So a little bit, I'm gonna give y'all a little background story of what Agora is. Agora is inner city missionary here in San Antonio, Texas. And what we do is our mission here is to love and share the love and hope of Christ in at-risk families and children. I'm gonna give y'all some statistics. We are I'm sorry, I can't stop crying. But we are, here in San Antonio, they have like 2 government houses, and it's the largest in the city, you know, right now. It's the lowest income, lowest fed, highest high school dropout rates, highest crime rates. It's just, it's pretty intense here. So coming here, serving for a week, I came to serve for a week, and then right after I just felt God really, like, calling me back here. And if it wasn't for Johnny and Haley, and, like, honestly, Johnny, for messaging them and telling them that, hey, I'm trying to do an internship here, I don't think I would be here if I didn't get that push and that courage. And so serving here for a week, I felt God really just telling me and putting in my heart, like, reminding me as well, that, bro, like, there's people here, like, there's people in Houston that really need, you know, to hear the gospel and really need to have that impact in their lives, you know. And so I just felt God like calling me back here to do an internship. I came and served for 6 months last year. In February, I left, came back for a couple of months. And I was there for a couple of months. I really don't know what God was trying to do in those couple of months, but I just felt like Him telling me to pick up where you left off. And I was like, what? I was like, I can't pick up where I left off. I'm about to leave. I was like, I'm about to go. Like, I'm about to leave, like, in a couple of months back to San Antonio. So, but you know what? I was like being obedient. I was like, okay. So, yeah, like, I picked up my small group again. I started small group leading for the time being that I was there. And it was just God's timing, honestly. And He taught me, like, within those few months, like, no matter where you at, no matter what you do or anything like that, whoever your title is or whatever you think your title is, you title to, you still gonna serve me. And like, you're gonna like, if I tell you to do something, like, it's up to us if we want to be obedient or not. And so I was like, okay, Lord, like, I hear you. Like, I'm gonna leave small group, right? So, you know, I had an amazing armor bearer. Shout out to Lydia, my girl. And now it was just God's timing, honestly. Like, cause right when I left, like, it was like a new season of small group leaders and stuff like that. So I already knew, like, she was gonna like take over and stuff like that. And now it's like, man, her small group's a beast. Like, I tune in every now and then, and man, I'm just like, I kid you not, bro. Like, at the end of every session, like every small group, like whether like through Zoom or whatever, I just cry, man. I legit cry, and I just give thanks to God. And so, yeah. So now, after those months passed, I am now here in San Antonio, Texas. You know, sharing the gospel. You know, being relational. What I do here is I am a discipleship leader, and I am a youth leader. God has taught me, like, has shown me that my heart for discipleship is big, and being relational with our community, rather if they're old, young, kids, don't matter what age, where they come from, don't matter nothing. Just being relational with them, and, you know, building that relationship, and discipling them little by little, man. We can't just shove Jesus down their throat or anything like that. Nah, it takes time, honestly. And, you know, this is what I'm doing now. I am now an inner city missionary, and this is what God has called me to do for this time. Wherever He calls me to do, just know, like, I'm gonna be obedient and go. You know, that's what it is. But yeah, just it's a quick story, quick testimony on how God has really affected me, and how Kairos helped me through this ministry, like through Kairos ministry, like really helped me through this, and to where I'm at, to where I am, and like always pushing me to lean on God and lean on Jesus, knowing who He is and stuff. And I want to do the same for others here in the inner city. You know, just disciple them, be relational. Again, man, relationship is key, bro. Like, relationship is key. And, you know, just hanging out, that's what it is. Like, living life with each other, you know. But like I said, going back to what I said in the beginning, the building is going to be a vessel. It's going to be a tool for that, you know. Bring them out of sports court, bring them out, go catch Whataburger, go catch a movie, something, you know. But also like just continue to seek God and let Him lead you in wherever it is. You know, it could be overseas, it could be in your inner city. You know, it don't matter. Um, but always sharing the gospel for sure. And if it wasn't for Joanna, Johnny, and Haley really impacting my life, and OG Kairos, if it wasn't for y'all, for y'all loving me and accepting me, and you know, just building that friendship, like I said before, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. And I love y'all. I miss y'all, and I'll see y'all soon.